Geekication, Laurie Kilmartin.
Notes from last time, and so we're just going to get right into it. Buy Laurie's pre-order Laurie's thing. I had a really good Set It Don't Tell, and we're both on the road next week. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God, we recorded. We did. I'd like to say we did an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We did at least an hour. We did close 55. Audio was lost.
Audio was lost.
We're re-recording today's podcast. Jackie, if this happens one more time, I'll never do this podcast again. I've never.
Okay.
The last time I felt like this was last week when we did a podcast at 8 a.m. on Monday.
Right. The scheduling is with podcasts. The scheduling is very difficult. I recorded a podcast after we did that hour, so this is my third hour of podcasting. Just so you know. So you are not alone. It blows.
Yeah. So let's.
Do you want to talk about Natasha Leggero?
Sure. Let's talk about different shit. I mean, I don't remember what we talked about, and I can't recreate it.
We can't recreate it. It's very sad. I did suggest that we take the transcript and you guys just respond to what I said. But that feels.
What if we had a transcript? What if we just read it and like it was a play? We don't have a full transcript, right? We just have your.
Yeah, just my. Because I couldn't believe it. You were on like the first 2 minutes, and then it was. Yeah.
Laurie,
anyway,
I read all your
Natasha
dialogue
Leggero.
myself before we redid this at the transcript.
Oh my God. So, yeah. So, but we still have a comic of the week, you know, we still have. Sure. You still have your new special, and the fact that you've been grinding it out with Melanie VC, learning how you're turning your brain
stuff. And then I have 3 podcasts back to back tomorrow, which is why I was hoping I'd have the night to sleep. I wouldn't have to do a podcast right before I go to sleep and wake up in the morning and do 3 back to back.
Oh, are you doing podcasts? Did you get Jess to book you or?
Yeah. So Monday and Tuesday are really stacked. Yeah. And then, Wednesday I fly to Dallas. I'm doing a show at the Dallas Comedy Club. Because I'm in Dallas that night, they let me have the night, and so we're trying to sell it out. So if you're in Dallas, come on Wednesday night only.
You added that. Yeah,
I added that. Then I drive to Louisiana, and I'm in Lafayette, Louisiana at the Academia Center.
Will you eat a crawfish?
No, I won't. I don't eat. Jackie, I don't. First of all, I like 3 foods, and none of them are seafoods, especially...
Water-based animals are not your.
I don't like seafood that has legs. Okay.
Right.
If you have a fin or a tail, okay, fine. But if you have 8 legs, no, you're not going to my mouth.
But Lafayette, you're doing a full show, right? And then you're going to a comedy festival, right?
Then I'm doing a festival Friday, Saturday. I'm in Paris, Texas, and I actually watched the movie Paris, Texas. About 80% of it to make a promo reel for the festival.
That's awesome.
It's a weird movie. I got to finish it because I did rent it, so maybe I lost it. Well, we'll see. No, I think it's actually streaming someplace. Anyway, it's on Max. That's right.
Okay.
Nastasia Kinski's in it. Native Texan, of course.
Sure.
And anytime she's in a movie, it's going to be a freak show. She was always, I don't know what happened to her. What happens to a lot of older actresses, but she's also this German kind of weirdo, and her dad was a total weirdo, and maybe she's just leading a little weird life, in Germany.
What was she in that I might know? Is she probably not in any of the Marvel titles, right?
I don't remember. It's something where it was, this was like the 80s, so she was exploited sexually and very young. Something like something right. Along the lines of Brooke Shields, but she's European, so nobody even felt uncomfortable doing it.
I saw some French film where there was like an 8-year-old that you could tell was going to be the most gorgeous woman, in the world.
Ooh.
And they had just vaguely sexual. I mean, the shots of her, you were just like, well, she's going to be amazingly gorgeous one day. Leave that child alone. Is literally I think it was called The City of Children or something like that. It was
plus you can never tell. If you look at, there's like a picture of Meghan Markle when she was younger, and she's beautiful. I mean, but as a kid, she just looked like a kid. You're not like, oh, that's going to be one of the most beautiful women in the world.
Right.
But you're like, oh yeah, I see where it came from. But it's, she just, a lot of them just look like normal kids, and then they have a glow up,
they blossom. I had my makeup done, and it was called a beat makeup. Don't even try grammatication. What the fuck? Anyway, so I got my hair and makeup done for the Don't Tell thing. And the woman who did my makeup, so I got my hair cut on Monday by my haircut, cut and color.
Hair looks good. I saw it on Tuesday, I think, right?
Right, hairdresser. Yep. Troy's amazing. He's great. And then I told him that the Don't Tell was being shot down Redondo, and he was working on a TV show down there. And he said maybe the makeup artist and I could do your hair and makeup because they were in Torrance and the thing was in Redondo. So I went down close enough, and I was going to have somebody else, and we didn't know that it was Redondo, so she said, oh, feel free to replace me. And so I did. And then so I Carmen, so I had a stylist come in the morning with piles and piles of clothes that I thought I had to buy, that I did not have to buy. And you can weed off because you've heard this story before, but the people listening, this will be a great story for them. So I hired a stylist, and the stylist, I was afraid, whenever I've gone shopping with anyone, I've just gone shopping with people, not with stylists. Stylists, it's a job. Their job is entirely to make you feel comfortable in the clothes that they've chosen. And she put me in clothes that I didn't feel, that I felt kind of sexy in, that I felt kind of, and none of it was ill-fitting, but it was also not super expensive. So I was like, well, who the fuck do you know? We've never met before. She watched my Instagram. I didn't tell her what size I was. She asked me what size shoe I wore. And that was it. And then she showed up. It was amazing.
I would love for somebody to bring me properly fitted shoes. That would be incredible.
Properly fitted shoes. Well, the shoes were boots that I put them on, and I was like, well, these aren't comfortable. And she said, I see that. And then she said, well, let's just see how they look with the pants and the shirt. And I have other shoe ideas. And she said it's not that common for the first thing you put on to be the thing that works, but in this case, it was the first thing we put on. Yeah, and
cool.
And by the time we had tried on like 4 different shirts and jackets to go with the pants fit immediately, and by the time I had tried the shirt and coats on, the shoes were slightly broken in. So I was like, I could wear these boots.
Oh.
And so I wore.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And then she steamed them, put them in a bag with a fancy long coat, sort of like a duster coat. It looked like I was about to pew, 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 like I was going to, high noon. And then
please don't remind me that, about steaming, because my wardrobe person left before I went up on stage, and I needed a steam during my special.
That's right.
Jackie, don't say that word for another year, please.
3 years. Okay. Right. And don't forget to pre-order Laurie's new special, which is called. Yeah.
I'll sell it. I'll get it.
Right.
Jackie.
You've been coached.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So then I'll say that Carmen Morales came over. The woman put the clothes, Cat Eves, put the clothes in the trunk, told me not to put anything on top of them. And then she actually said, and this is gonna make you even angrier. She said, "Well, I was thinking of coming to the show down in Redondo." And I was like, "What?" And so she came to the show and helped me get dressed at the event. And that's when I found out that the duster coat, the coat that was on it, is a couture item or a fancy item.
How much?
It would have been, she said something like $1,000 for the coat.
Ooh.
So I was like, I will not be keeping the coat. She said, you don't have to keep any of it, but I am going to keep some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, when we wear coats, we wear them to comedy clubs, so they get taken off and thrown in a corner. We don't.
I don't wear them on stage.
Comics aren't coat people. Yeah,
I don't wear, and I won't ever wear it on stage again because because I'm indoors. I do stand-up comedy as a rule, almost exclusively indoors. If I'm doing an event that has porta potties, something's either gone horribly awry or I'm being paid some money, which is what this was, a Don't Tell comedy special.
Right. I as I said earlier on our last podcast, is when I was doing VH1 the Best Week Ever, we had a stylist and she'd bring out like 2 or 3 potential outfits. You just show up.
So cool.
For the taping. It was awesome. And they put on earrings and they do everything. It was great. I was like, this is the way to live.
A lot of them?
Yeah, I did quite a few. I had a good little run. I did a bunch of live shows with John Mulaney, Nick Kroll, Melissa Rauch, all people who went on to make millions of dollars. And
who's Melissa Rauch?
Real. She's on Big Bang Theory. She
okay.
I don't know the character she plays.
Right.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
Everyone else has. Everyone else has.
Yes, everyone else has.
You don't need my eyes. Yeah.
No, and I didn't see it for an entirely opposite reason than you didn't see it. You didn't see it because it's not your people. And I didn't see it because it is my people. And
what do you mean it's not my people? Sitcom people?
No, the nerd
people?
The nerd thing. The Dungeons and Dragons video game people.
Oh, I see. Was that
Big Bang Theory? Yeah. Because they're the whole sitcom, the theme of it is, to my knowledge, and of course I haven't seen it, so I'll just say
then why would you tell me the reason I'm not seeing it when you haven't seen it either? Like, those are your people? That's how you treat your people?
Kyle's getting
What
calls.
did you review? Oh, I'm glad. You know what? I'm almost glad we lost the first one, because then you started reviewing another show you hadn't seen yet. And I'm like, what are you doing? Are you trying to kill your career in every possible function?
Oh,
You're
right.
Too tired to.
I named a booker that I didn't, that I thought.
That too?
Right.
And
that was the only thing I did, I thought.
Practically gave the audience cross streets of where I live. Like, you were out of control this afternoon.
Well, then you should be psyched that it's gone into the ether. And you were super shocked by 3 names of sex addicts that I know about that you didn't know about, because I think you thought that I meant sex offenders, and they are not sex offenders.
No, I was talking about Chris D'Elia, right? Somebody I know said they had worked with him a while ago when he was, maybe before he was caught, when he was in the throes. Okay. And at first this is a dude. Okay. So first the guy was like, wow, that seems pretty cool. You're getting a lot of the pussy, right? And then then it was like, no, this guy cannot go a couple hours without getting a new woman or girl. But he was just talking about it as like, sex addiction is not a joke. Like, it looked real when he saw it up close and actually fun. Right. And then you shocked me to my core when you started guessing who I was talking about and putting names in the chat I had no idea we're
very sexually addicts. They're sexually active. These are some very sexually active gentlemen.
One was quite the wife guy.
Right, he's a wife talker. He talks a good wife game.
But
and
whatever, yeah.
Right. I think all 3 of them have been married. The ones but one of them, but they are not sex offenders. They're just guys with they just have problems. They just have issues that they are in many cases are addressing.
Yeah, I'm sure. And
so that's good too. Yeah.
Again, it's you know, it's just it's a male comic. I'm not shocked. I was a little shocked, but I was like, yeah. I mean, should I ever be shocked about male comics and intense levels of sex? No.
I guess not. It's I have this to say.
Do people realize how horny male comics are? And I feel uncomfortable talking about this in front of Kyle. But Jackie, do they realize?
I think Kyle knows how horny male comics are.
The
but I will say
horniness of male comics.
But you've heard talk. And but I think, do you think this is the speculation I have about the horniness of male comics and how I don't think that it's any different than just regular people, except the fact that there is power. Well, I think that there are some women who are super horny too. But because
I would say not the same. Like once I realized, Madonna is just as horny as hell. And not on a level that I am. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I kept going, why is she doing all? Like, there are women where I'm like, why are they doing all that? And I'm like, oh, they're way
because they
hornier
exist.
than me.
They're super hornier. Yeah, and it's. But I will say, but here's the reason why male comics,
right,
and their horniness affects the rest of the world is because much like actors or politicians or business people who have or the rich. When a male comic gets popularity and has that kind of power, he abuses it. Almost absolute power.
I would say that that desire is what drives them on stage or to become the list of things that sort of and then the access to women after the show. It's like unbelievable.
Right. Like the stories.
Actually, there aren't more names, Jackie, on your list of secret sex
we only had an hour.
Texting me.
So someone was telling me the other day that they worked, I think it was my makeup artist, was telling me that she shot something in Arkansas and Bill Clinton came and hung out at the hotel she was staying at, and he would make out every night in the hotel in the elevator with her as she exhaustedly went upstairs. He was making out with somebody who later was a big reveal. Janet somebody? I don't know.
Wait, so while he was married? During the marriage?
Right, and he was governor.
Of
Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Janet Reno. I'm sure that's who it was.
Was it Janet Reno?
That would be incredible. And big ups to Janet if that's how she started.
I feel like it was Janet Daly, but I don't know that that's a name. Anyway.
I had some big nights tonight or this weekend. Okay, first of all, on Friday night, my son and I alighted Sharon Mahoney's show at the Ice House. It was a lot of fun in the California room.
Oh, cool.
I think she does a monthly show, and I
haven't been to the new one. Yeah.
Filled the room pretty well, right?
That's cool.
So it was fun. And then but all day I was worried because I said to my son a couple days earlier, I'm like, hey, there's a midnight showing of Inglourious Bastards at the new Beverly. Do you want to go on Friday night? Trying to be a good mom. And then I realized this is like an almost 3-hour movie and it's going to start at midnight. What the fuck am I thinking?
Yeah.
We went and I was twitching. It felt like being on the red eye from Burbank to JFK where I start to twitch at a certain time and I'm incredibly uncomfortable.
Had either of you seen it before?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
And then it was fun. It was really fun though, seeing it with it was only like $10 and they give you the little like paper ticket, like the old days. The whole thing is like the old days. Popcorn is like $6. It's crazy. So
Like
that
the
was
old
cool.
days.
And he was near people who weren't closer to his age than my age, which I'm sure was nice.
Yeah.
And then last night was at the West Side. That was really fun. We'll talk about that because of our comic of the week. But then tonight, we went and saw Sarah Schaefer's show going up at the Elysium. And it was really, really, really good. Yeah, very funny. It's so different from when I saw it like early in its inception. And I think there was a couple jokes I recognized, but that was it. She changed so much. It's really, really good.
That's fascinating because I remember when you went and saw it early. And so it's changed a great deal. And is it an hour?
Yes. A little over an hour, but it's weird because it started at 7 and at 10 to 7, I'm like, oh, this is a bummer. It's only like half sold out. And then literally at 2 minutes to 7, a flood of people came in. I'm like, it's fucking classic LA. Everyone's having heart attacks backstage because half the seats aren't filled yet. And then they all show up, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really great. I recommend seeing it if you have a chance.
Oh, yeah.
I brought my son and he enjoyed it too, you know?
Oh, that's cool.
Even though he's seen enough comedy to get it. I did have to explain who Gallager was to him after the show. And
did you explain who Gallager to was?
Conversation.
Right. It's always that one-on-one conversation you have to have.
Tell your son about Gallager. I did pick up a date. I forgot to mention this. So I'm going to be at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase, the March 21st through 23rd.
Right.
So the plane tickets to Ann Arbor are $500 minimum, right?
Right,
and
to
then
Detroit,
you get in, and then you drive an hour and do the show. Like, that's not. If I get in at 4, if I'm lucky, I get to the hotel at 5:30.
6,
right?
Yeah.
Miracle. 6, right? And then I immediately do a show.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I decided to fly into Chicago because I have family in Chicago. And go in a day early. And then I was like, well, why don't I try to, kind of like Dallas, like, well, if I'm going to be there, let me try to do a fucking show. And so I'm going to do, on March 20th, Wednesday, March 20th, I'm going to be at the Lincoln Lodge headlining a show there.
Oh, there you go.
There's another little pop-up. If you are in Chicago, come to the Lincoln Lodge, March 20th. Mark your calendars. Get on my website pretty soon. I'll have a ticket link.
You are grinding it out, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I'm going in a day early, what am I going to do? Stay in a hotel room? I'd rather do a set, right?
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
So that's
there you go.
I think I flew in a day early to Ann Arbor, and I just got there a day early. I just got there late.
Oh, okay.
And just
did you
stayed
do an extra night in the hotel?
Yeah.
And
then
but I
also rented a car, and that was good. And right by the hotel is the Zingerman's, and I know you just like the 3 foods, but Zingerman's is an amazing diner.
I'll go. I remember that from last time.
Yeah, it's really good. So
I'll go. So we're gonna do a shorter one today, right?
Right.
Because we've already did one. So we're like at 23, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to do the comic of the week? You want to go to a break?
Comic of the week. Okay. Jackie, we're back.
Comic of the week. Yes.
Okay, so I just worked with her at West Side, and she's so funny, and she went up second, and she killed, and I immediately thought, that's the set of the night.
Right.
Everyone else, you can just chill out. She won. And Allie Kolbert.
Right, with Kolbert with a K, right? You said hours ago when we first recorded this and talked about how great she was, how she freaking destroyed, she murdered, and you were just sitting there going, well, we can all leave now. We're fine.
No, I wasn't, we could leave. I was like, we can just chill because the audience had a great set and we can work on new shit if we want to. Because
that's cool.
Yeah, is more like
it's
a
ALI, and then Kolbert is with a K. So how are you spelling? Is it just Kolbert? So
yeah, it's Kolbert with a K.
Kolbert.
And it's just her name as her Instagram, right, Kyle?
Yeah. Isn't it weird? We're no longer sending anyone to Twitter. We only quote their Instagram.
Yeah, I don't want
Jackie,
to go to
this
Twitter.
business is changing so quickly. I swear to God, I don't know if I want to stay in it anymore.
Well, the tasks are so great. There are so many tasks. I taped, and I've told you this already, but maybe there'll be something new. The Don't Tell. I did the Don't Tell. Did the hair, the makeup. Carmen and I, we end up in Redondo. We get there early enough that I'm like, let's go get some coffee. Go to a coffee shop. So we go to a coffee shop and we park and we walk down this hill, and I'm like, this looks so much like Hermosa Beach. Is it the same architect who does Redondo that does Hermosa? And Carmen goes, really, does it? Because I think they're next to each other, but I think it's the same. And I was like, no, to the exact point, like this pier with these two banks look just like it's by the Comedy and Magic Club. We were by the Comedy and Magic Club. We were a half a block away from the Comedy and Magic Club. Because the Dive and Surf, which was a diving store and surfing, it was just a mile into Redondo out of Hermosa. It was like right there. And so I emailed Richard at the Comedy and Magic on Friday, quite honestly hoping that he would say, well, because I said, hey, the Don't Tell, it turns out I'm at the coffee shop around your corner. And I told him that hilarious story just as an excuse for him to hopefully say, oh, there's room on the show tonight if you want to come by.
Someone dropped out.
Yeah, didn't say it. Never said it. So I didn't get to pick up a set after I did my Don't Tell. But we got to the Don't Tell. I got the sweet spot, went up third. Might have had the set of the night, except for, of course, that I had a brain freeze. Second.
Right.
The second joke, I literally forgot where I was going. Had to pull up my set list. Made some aging riff that I was irritated that killed, and then did the rest of my set and closed on one of my newer jokes, because I had just seen Josh Gondelman's Don't Tell, and it looked like it was all newer material, which makes me think
Josh's was really great,
so good. So that the thing about his ex and the the thing about I think it's ADHD. I mean, the topics were just felt green, but also possibly, that could date themselves pretty quick if it didn't come out pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, what we were saying earlier is like, what's the frustration with late night sets is the back and forth with the booker. And each one is their own beast, right? But them tinkering with jokes and telling you what to say, and then we'll put you on the lineup in 3 months, or we're going to film them all tonight, and then we'll put yours up within the year or whatever. It just like, what? And then with the Don't Tell, you just go in, once you book it, it's like you pick your material that you're going to do.
Right.
And they post it, and it happens so much faster. And it very effective. Like, does a set from a late night show get the same sort of exposure on like Instagram or TikTok that a set from Don't Tell does? I have no idea.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, it seems like it's upending the importance of late night sets now. Which, again, that's another shocker that I don't know that I can recover from. I don't know what this business is turning into.
Right, but the process that you explained is such an interesting process to me, because the only person ever willing to put me on late night was Conan,
JP.
Yeah, it was JP. And so
at Conan, yeah.
Yeah, but that process is the classic process. I remember going through it with Eddie Brill, because Eddie Brill liked me, but he never ended up liking the set. He was like, this isn't fixing the set. This isn't fixing the set. So, but you pick like 6 jokes, you record it. You want it to look right. You want it to look like it's successful in the moment that you record it. You send it off to the booker and they're like, well, I like 3 of those jokes. You have to you have to take this topic out or those words out. And they micromanage the set so much that you have
Yeah.
to sort of relearn it. And if this is the new thing where
The new way.
the new way, I of course am psyched about it. As I think you should be psyched about it too, just because you just get to do your act.
Yeah. I mean, we're so used to these old arcane rules that when you break them down, you're like,
It doesn't even sound fun. Yeah.
Show. It's not fun at all. And, and it's done out of fear of the host, and so,
Right.
Eddie Brill famously had all these rules about what Dave likes or doesn't like and stuff, and he's afraid of getting fired. So he can't get fired for not putting on a comic who Dave doesn't like, but he could have been. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying it's people protecting their jobs versus,
didn't he get fired?
Don't tell it
because he only booked one woman? Wasn't he let go eventually because of that?
Yeah, I think so.
Because he only booked Karen Rontowski that last year?
I think he went back. He went back to just doing warm up. I think he was still associated with the show, but he wasn't booking the comedy. But I don't think the new person did much better, and then Dave went off the air.
Right. I think it was all pretty.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Those days are over.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe for good. Maybe for the best. I don't know.
And some of the new ways, they're just the learning curve. It is so fast right now that it does feel, especially with your new website and my new website and the lessons of promotional rescue with Melanie. And even Carmen was like, you have to get makeup, hair, and a stylist for this Don't Tell thing because it's going to go viral because they're really, their marketing's amazing. Your comedy's great. Together, you'll get a lot of hits, right? So I'm hoping that is exactly what happens. And
yeah, of course.
It says it's still recording on my end, Kyle, but it says that it stopped recording on yours. Okay. I'm just going to let it keep recording. We're going to keep talking. And I'm going to, yeah.
Okay.
So, okay. So, if that popped up during the last, when we were earlier, I do want to talk about Natasha Leggero.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Because she was at the Improv?
Mm-hmm. Was she on a show with Bert Kreischer? That's the impression I got. And
right, because you didn't post that in the thread, right? Somebody else posted that in the thread.
Yeah, somebody else posted it, yeah.
So I clicked on it.
And then
yeah.
So Bert, as Bert does, takes off his shirt. Does he even have a shirt? Does he just enter the stage shirtless, or does he take it off?
He takes it off. He takes it off. And I think he originally had a joke that made him take it off. And now they just want him to take it off.
Sure. I mean, if your fans like it, good for you.
Right. It's just a hook. It's like Stanhope putting a sock on his dick. It's fine. It's
okay. And so Natasha was on the same show, so she also took off her shirt, including I guess she was braless or whatever.
Yeah,
at some point
I don't think she had a bra.
It was her,
just her boobs.
Yeah.
And TMZ picked it up.
Cheers to Natasha for not even wearing a bra on stage. Like, I don't know how that happens.
Right.
I don't not wear a bra in the shower. Like, I'm constantly 24/7, and I love it.
I'm not wearing a bra now. Live it up, people who listen to this show with that imagery. You won't be seeing my nipples. Nobody needs that. Because, but I got so distracted by you.
She
I
looks
wear a
great,
bra
though.
in the shower. Yeah, no, she looks great. She has a kid. I believe she breastfed that kid. So,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
I mean, as a mom, I'm like, she snapped back real good, real good.
And
So
I
she looks
think,
great, but
yeah,
mhm.
and I think as maybe that made her less self-conscious about her boobs. Having
Sure.
somebody breastfeed, and because her kid's
Mhm.
only like 4, I think, right?
Maybe
6?
older. I think older.
Okay.
I
And
mean,
but good for
yeah,
her. But it's against the law for women to be topless in a restaurant.
yeah.
And it's not against the law for men to be topless. Though I think any place that serves food, it should be against the law of people not wear shirts. Everyone should wear a shirt.
Please, Chloe. Here's the thing. I hope this isn't where comedy's going. But you know what? Comedy goes a lot of places I don't want it to, and I'm still here. I don't know. I've lost control of comedy. I think I was in charge of it for a little while, and now it's
You were
out
the
of control.
president
It's
of comedy. I remember.
TikTok fame becomes headlining, and taking your shirt off becomes a tradition. And I don't know where the place is for me. But
I'll say this is that
except for I'm in Dallas on Wednesday night.
Right. On Wednesday night, I'll be in Park City, Utah. You can't come. So there you go.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, I'm opening for Maria at the Palace of the Fine Arts at Sketchfest. You can come to that.
Fun.
And then a
Great
week
room.
from this weekend, I'm in Sunnyvale in the Bay Area doing Rooster T. Feathers, Cock-a-doodle-doo. Carmen Morales is opening. And yeah, okay, so I was telling Andy about Natasha Leggero, and he said, wasn't that an actual plot point of a Ms. Maisel? And I said,
Oh, really?
I wouldn't know. So again, I've never seen it.
Does he not know you wouldn't watch a show about a female comic?
It's hard to watch any stand-up shows. That's what I hear. I've never seen that one either. But he said that there was a scene with Ms. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I tried Maisel, and I was like, I get why people like it, but I can't. It makes my skin crawl.
But you liked Hacks.
Yeah, and I was ready not to. When I heard the description, I was like, oh, now they're coming for me.
How many seasons
they're coming for me.
How many seasons are there of Hacks?
I think there's 3 so far.
Okay.
I hope it's cancellation proof, because I was told by I'm sure this person wouldn't care if I dropped their name, but I hate to, like, if you're having a conversation at green room, you don't know who doesn't want their names attributed to things. But as a big deal person said that the new thing with series, though, there will be 2 seasons, and that's it. Because streamers have figured out that that's the minimum they need to get new people to join, to be subscribed, is 2 seasons.
Oh,
interesting.
interesting.
And anything more than that is like servicing people that are already there. And they don't care. They just want more new subscribers. That's it.
All
yeah,
right.
They really don't. So, and unfortunately, HBO is now being run by a person like that, who just a Ted Sarandos type of guy.
Somebody said, so is your intro HBO or is it Max? And I go, please don't say Max. Nobody knows what the fuck that is. And you could say HBO Max if you want. But Andy said that he had accidentally saw an episode of Miss Maisel, and he thoroughly enjoyed it. But there was a scene where she unbuttoned her shirt a little too much, and then was given guff for it. And that was a plot point in the episode.
Enter Talking is Joan Rivers' autobiography. It's great.
Oh, I saw that.
I remember, I read it like when it came out, like when I was first starting in comedy, and she talks a lot about that stuff. It's really good.
Okay. Yeah, wait. Are you talking about her book, or are you talking about the documentary that was released?
No, her book.
I didn't read the book. It was. I wish I'd read
it. It has words on it on paper.
Yeah, a lot of people love those memoirs, and I've never been able to get into them. I don't know. I read that Winston Churchill one. That's not really.
No, that's like reading 7 Joan Rivers memoirs. So you're good. You're good
Am I
for a
caught up?
long time,
Am I
and
caught
you
up?
can coast on that.
Um,
Yeah.
the new
Um,
Thursday Murder
I,
Club. Yep.
oh, I was just going to promote. I'm going to be in Detroit at the Comedy Castle in Royal Oak,
Oh, that's right.
February 1st through 3rd. That's the week after this one.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
I can't remember when I'm at Laughs in Seattle, but I'm also doing
Ooh.
Fargo and Duluth with Maria. And I was like,
Mhm.
so are we gonna fly to Fargo, do the show, and then fly to Duluth? Which you can't fly directly. You would have to fly through Minneapolis. So it'd be a full day of flying. Instead, we're gonna drive. We're gonna drive from Duluth, Fargo to Duluth in February.
That
And
seems dangerous.
that seems very 1996 to me. And
Mhm.
I've done it. I'm okay never doing it again. it but there was also the way the travel person said it, it made it sound like there was going to be a hired driver, like we weren't going to have to drive. And that would be all right,
Oh,
where I could look
that'd be
deeply into my phone in the
incredible.
back seat for the 8 hours
Yes.
that it will take, because
Ooh,
it's probably a 5-hour drive. But in February, it can be an 8-hour drive.
I'm sure.
So,
Yeah, I like that.
but then I'm
I
going to go,
did float.
yeah,
Yeah.
then I'm going to go visit my dad. And after Duluth, because he's bored. He doesn't have
Jackie, he's
a car.
85. You don't need a single reason to visit him except that he's 85.
Right. Yeah.
Are you going to talk about your situation in your house right now?
Oh, right. Well, we covered it before. What? I got nothing to hide. Andy's got the COVID.
Mm.
And it was a funny line that at 2:00 this afternoon when we first recorded this, when I said that this podcast was entirely about stand-up comedy and COVID. So, because you dropped by a nasal spray that is burning away the hairs inside of my nose, but is protecting me at the same time.
It's
And
an antiviral nasal spray. Has been found to kill a lot of COVID. So if you got some COVID trying to make its way up your nostrils, so you got
mm-hmm,
some aerosols fighting their way in, that
mm-hmm,
nasal
mm-hmm.
spray is gonna fucking punch back, Jackie, and
That's
hopefully
it.
keep you safe, along
Keep me
with your
safe.
mask and your air purifiers.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And Andy's sleeping in his mother's room, the other room in our house,
Mm-hmm.
because his mom was in the hospital for a long time. She is now out of the hospital, in the hospital rehab around the corner in Santa
Mm-hmm.
Monica, and she is doing so much better than when she was in the hospital, because a hospital will kill you. If
Mm-hmm.
a hospital should patch you up and get you out of there, because she was there for
Yeah.
21 days. And
Wow.
there just wasn't enough PT. She was just in bed being a 77-year-old woman lying down for 21 days. And now she's
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the rehab, and so she gets up and she exercises, and we're trying to get her strong enough so she can just come home. She can just come back, live here. But if she has to be able to just to be able to be alone for a couple hours while Andy works and I'm on the road,
Yeah.
right?
That's what
So,
happened to my mom. She was in the hospital laying down for about a week, and they're like, "We have to get you to rehab so you can." It happens so quickly where you need rehab
right.
to
It
walk.
was that's what Chris said. Chris was
It's
like, I went
crazy.
into the hospital with a real reason and I came out an old lady. And you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's trouble. And
Yeah.
her brother and her sister-in-law, and they both got COVID when they flew here from places that they are all vaccinated, but they
Mm-hmm.
didn't mask up. They flew from Memphis to LAX, and where she's at has strict COVID protocols where you get tested when you go in. So the third time they went in to visit her, all three of them had COVID. And Andy had spent the whole week with them. I was on the road. I was in Denver. So I didn't ever get to spend time with them. So the day before I came home, Andy found out that they had COVID. And then
Oh, Jackie, I didn't realize you dodged the bullet the whole time when you were in Denver. That's amazing.
yeah.
You're really lucky.
So, yeah, I came home, but Andy and I then were together for 2 days.
Mm.
And then he tested positive for COVID.
Oh.
And so I've been testing every day and I'm still negative, but
yeah, it's nerve-wracking.
It's nerve-wracking. And one of my friends has RSV, which is a respiratory thing.
Horrendous.
She's not good.
We can't get vaccinated. We're too young to get vaccinated against it. I've heard RSV is terrible. There's so much shit happening right now because COVID has weakened our immune systems. And so we're much more vulnerable to things. And the colds last longer. If you've had COVID 1 or 2 times, shit will last longer and it take you longer to recover. And fuck this government for not telling us that. All right, Jackie.
Did they know
I have
it?
to say that once per
Did they know
podcast.
it? Okay.
Yeah, everyone. It's out. It's public knowledge. Scientists know it, and the Biden wants to pretend like COVID has gone away and it's all mild now if you get it and it's no big deal. Meanwhile, like Tim Kaine has long COVID and is practically incapacitated. He was the former vice presidential.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a senator and he has terrible long COVID and other people do too. And, we're just going to let all these kids and people just march into it, and tell them, well, it'll be mild and no big deal. It's life altering for a lot of people. And you don't know if you could be next. That's all. That's all.
That's all.
That's why I take so many precautions. And my son is already buckling against them and annoyed with me. And I'm like, fuck, I'm trying to be as non-invasive as possible, but he will be gone in 1.5 years to college. And I don't know if he's going to take any precautions besides a vaccine.
Right.
Sucks.
Well, I mean, you teach them as much as you can, then you gotta let them go. So yeah. I don't know what to say except for that. I want to talk about comedy again because what do we got? Like another? Where are we at? 47?
Yeah, I thought we were going to do 45 on this one. I think
let's do
over.
Well, I just want to do a couple minutes where I talk about how excited I am to do stand-up comedy again. That isn't this old set that I've been working on for 2 weeks. And
you've been hammering that one.
Right, because some of those jokes were literally from 1980. Like, I think the Little League one was from 1993. The Little League candle. I think I started telling those sales jokes like in the early 90s. But it did remind me of a story that I didn't do. I was thinking about doing it, but I didn't. The sets were tighter than I thought. I thought they were 15-minute sets, and I had planned a 12-minute set because I was told 10 to 15. And so we got there and they said 10. Yeah. So I said mine might be 12. And Doug, the director, was like, 12 is fine. 15, if everybody did 15, the person who has to go last is really kind of screwed. So let's not do that. And so it's the whole thing about me selling student council candy bars for double what they were worth. And then I got caught. Hubris. And then I got called into the vice principal, and they were like, "We're going to tell your parents." And I was like, "Oh, they know. They're psyched. They're proud of me." And
I come from Romanian gypsies. My father is Peaky Blinder.
All of those references are killing somewhere. And but I will say that that so he expelled me, and I was like, he said they know, and I was like, yeah, I don't understand why you guys are mad. You're getting your cut. You're getting your 50 cents a candy bar. I'm just charging $1. And I get home, and it's a very, I mean, the main funny parts of it are the fact that I got home and I cried all the way home. I was in such a weird, confused. I got expelled for making a profit. I'm in trouble. Yeah.
I think I thought you said you were shoplifting, which is why I went to Romanian Gypsies, Peaky Blinders. It makes no sense if you're making a profit. So I'd like to recall those punchlines and